feeling the pinch of tariffs that punish. What occurs when Canada's largest client abruptly imposes high taxes on its aluminum and steel? When the drawbridge was raised in the US, unexpectedly a worldwide alliance jumped in to fill the void. Who are these 10 unanticipated markets that are emerging? And how they supported Canadian exporters during the spike in tariff prices, from Rotterdam's glistening ports to Asia's energy-hungry centers. These countries did not merely purchase goods. They saved struggling industries. Watch closely as we unveil the 10 nations that transformed adversity into opportunity. It ensured livelihoods across the country, keeping Canada's economy afloat. Number 3, United Kingdom. Ever pondered which markets intervened? When the United States shut down Canadian metals, as U.S. tariffs impact Canada's trade in steel and aluminum in March 2025, one unexpected customer came to the rescue. Unwrought gold exports to the UK increased dramatically. Canadian exports outside of the U.S. increased by 24.8% in that month. However, this wasn't a one-time windfall, you know. Since December, exports of precious metals have increased each month, indicating a persistent desire from London's vaults that was the source of this craze. Amid global instability, analysts highlight the importance of portfolio diversity. With increased demand from the aerospace and technology sectors in Britain, could Canada's post-tariff strategy be redefined by this golden lifeline? If the glitzy Russian London is any guide, other markets might do the same, transforming a crisis into an opportunity. And maintaining the hum of manufacturing at home. Number 2, Netherlands. Think you know who arrived next? See enormous tankers loading at first light. This buyer seemed unfazed by the tariffs. March 2025. Canadian crude oil exporters found refuge at Dutch ports. Shipments to the Netherlands experienced a significant spike, contributing to a noteworthy 32.0% increase in Canadian exports to the EU as a whole that month. Refineries that are energy-hungry picked up tanker loads in Rotterdam, compensating for U.S. market losses nearly instantly. According to a trade official, you won't believe the scale. Canada quadrupled its annual crude oil exports to the Netherlands, supporting the larger EU demand for a steady supply and the reasons for this surge. Europe's push to diversify its supply and increase its green hydrogen feedstocks suggests long-term collaborations. Could the Netherlands emerge as Canada's preferred energy source? This exporter from North America is placing a large wager, and you should too. Remember to subscribe for more enlightening information. With your help, we can continue to unearth the important stories. Hold on tight if you have felt that Europe's reaction was spectacular. Coming up, a global financial giant with access to vessel pipelines of analysts were shocked by Canadian crude, but guess what? They aren't even a nation in the conventional sense. However, their need changed Canada's export map more quickly than anyone had anticipated. Keep checking back. Number 1, Hong Kong. Ever wonder which financial center discreetly absorbed Canadian energy when others objected? Imagine enormous tankers entering Victoria Harbor, loaded rather than with visitors Canadian crude, due to the fact that in March 2025, an astounding 35.2% increase in Hong Kong's oil exports sent shockwaves through markets throughout the world. These shipments skyrocketed to over $850 million from about $630 million the previous year, contributing to Canada's 31.9% increase in exports to the rest of the globe that month. However, this wasn't a one-time bonanza. The trading houses and refineries in Hong Kong were competing with sought steady, varied crude supply in the face of whirling uncertainty, and Canada responded. Late in March, U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs. Hong Kong's financiers have always been the judge of risk-infused capital into contracts for long-term purchases, putting money on the resilience of Canadian energy. Could Asia's energy map change as a result of this pivot? With the situation being complicated by China's own tariffs and trade tensions, Hong Kong became a lifeline due to its open market policy. However, the tale doesn't stop with tankers and pipes barrel by barrel. The equities markets saw a surge in shares of Canadian oil majors as a result of this rise, with the resurgence of exchange-traded fund flows concentrated on Western Canada's selection. Analysts pointed out a more extensive strategic move. Europe was rushing to diversify and get away from Russian gas. As the U.S. reorganized its energy partnerships, Hong Kong's desire for reliable crude laid the groundwork for a new Trans-Pacific alliance. Never undervalue the effectiveness of alternate pathways. A market veteran made a joke. Here's the real deal, particularly when supply and national security issues are equally pressing. However, some projected that as spot prices decreased, Hong Kong might fade off. Orders continued to pour in into April, suggesting multi-year commitments. Additionally, as LG Canada plans to increase later this year, may these oil connections develop into more extensive energy collaboration. When traditional consumers slammed the door, one thing became evident. This city-state opened its harbor cranes and vaults to maintain Canada's export growth.